All right. Welcome, everyone. Episode 13, right? Yeah, 13. Yay.
Yep,
Dibs and
lucky
Dorks.
13.
13.
We've got
yes.
some fun topics to talk about today. I'm Nadia, player one of the Inside All Day podcast. I'm joined today by, as always, these lovely ladies. I'm just going to cut it short. We're going to introduce everybody, bring our guests out, and get to the topic. So, Mags, let the people know who you are.
Hi, I am Magitech Mags. Of course, I am everywhere according to my little sub handle here. So you can find me on Twitter, YouTube, all over the place with Magitech Mags as the handle. And I cannot wait to get into some of these topics tonight. And welcome to the rebellion, y'all. So
yes, that's
good. And also, we've got a birthday girl tonight over here. Nomi.
I have something big for Nomi plans, but that's a good segue. Nomi, who are you? Who are you? Let the people know.
Hi, I'm Nomi without you. You guys can see me a lot on Twitter or on YouTube, especially on Midnight's Edge Espanol, or you can hear stories of me falling down and Rachel trying to stop me from ending it all. And getting a concussion. But yeah, I'm just well known for falling over and injuring myself, and I just brush the dust off myself and keep going.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're okay in one piece. Lily, how are you today?
I am doing really great. I'm so happy to be here with everybody. And you can find me on Twix. You can also find me on Midnight's Edge Espanol, sometimes on Latino Slant, and just not as everywhere as Mags, but not quite there yet. But yeah, just some things. But I'm really, really happy to be here today. Of course, we're celebrating our girl Gina.
I only have little
Nomi's birthday, so we got quite a bit of things to get through today. So it's gonna be great.
Yes, it's a good day to have this panel going on. So, Rachel.
Yes, Dr. Rachel. Last but not least.
Hi, everyone. Of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Rachel. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram all the time. Sauron_cosplay. You can see my YouTube channel at Align Crafting. Links below and everywhere. Just doing art stuff, art videos, cosplay videos. I have right after this past weekend with MegaCon, I have a whole bunch of new ideas for art stuff. So hopefully be doing a lot of that. I'm excited to talk about some really good topics, celebrating Nomi's birthday. And we will do all that with our usual panel of lovely ladies and our special guest.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, we should probably bring him in, right?
Oh, maybe.
Sammy!
Hey! Welcome to the panel!
Sammy told Mags and I this is his first live stream.
I know. So
yeah. We are very honored for this.
We're popping open a bottle for him. So there you
go. Sammy, if the people don't know who you are, where can they find you?
You can find me on everything, but I have nothing to offer. I'm on Twitch. I'm on YouTube. You can find me on X. I'm pretty sure I have my TikTok set up, but it's all going to be under Sammy3peat. And as soon as I narrow a couple things down, I'm going to be ready to roll. iTunes, you can find me on that.
Very cool. All your links are in the description, so please go ahead, give Sammy a follow. And I don't know, did anybody notice that I cut in? My internet totally kicks me out of the stream.
I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, we're keeping it smooth tonight, so we're good. Nadia, we're good. We got it.
So, but I do want to say hello to the chat, but before we say hello to the chat, obviously we have a birthday girl on the panel today, Nomi. Hello, Nomi. Happy birthday. Look, I have this for you. Happy birthday, Nomi. But I also have something else for you. Hold on 1 second.
All the gifts.
Oh,
yes.
Hey.
Happy birthday, Nomi. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Nomi. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Nomi. Happy birthday.
I have no idea how long this is.
Nomi, blow out your candles.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
I love that.
Oh, it was just getting good.
I know. I know.
Mhm. We were
You gotta
grooving.
do like this, and do like
That-
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
go follow
nice.
the birthday girl as well. That'll be a great birthday present. Give her a sub on her channel as well. Know Me Without You. And let's get into saying hello to the chat. We've got Tom B as always. Thank you, sir. One of our mods as well. Shmoo as well. An early
Shmoo.
night. Yeah,
What's
I
up,
love watching Shmoo play games. It's a
Smooth's
ton of fun.
Yeah.
Yarn Witch, hello.
Hi, Yarn Witch.
What's up?
Raxus.
Thank you.
Hi.
No, Raxus.
Raxus.
I don't speak English very well, Sammy, so the girls help me with pronunciations of some of these names.
Fair
Josh,
enough.
hello.
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 Hey, Josh.
Oh, next week I'm going to be recording with Josh. He's got I don't think I'm allowed to. Am I? Oh, cat's out of the bag. I'm working on a project with Josh. I'll let him give the details out later. Let's see. Mongoose, as always, a pleasure to see you.
Mongoose.
Hey, Mongoose.
Hi, Mongoose.
Mando Unchained.
Up, Mando.
Hi,
Not
Mando.
Mando Untamed. Mando Unchained.
Ooh.
Hi, King. Hello. Always good to see you,
King.
sir.
Hello.
Let's see. Vex is in the house as well. And then yes, I understand. Everybody was so tiny. I know. I'm working on it. Still getting used to the getting used to doing stuff. Oh, Polly as well. Hello.
Hi,
What's your
Polly.
name,
Hey, Polly.
And
Thank you, Polly.
oh, Phil. Happy birthday, Nomi.
Thank you, Phil.
Hi, Phil.
And Dom.
Dom H. I hung
Hey,
out
Dom.
with him. Yeah.
Oh,
Hi,
hung out
very
Dom.
cool.
on
That's
Monday.
cool.
He's a sweet guy. I like him a lot.
Awesome.
And then I think we got Morgan here.
Hi,
I like
Morgan.
Pretty
that.
sure that's my wife.
Oh,
Hey,
promise
my
to be
dad.
gentle with
Hi,
him.
honey.
We promise. We
Thanks.
promise to be gentle with him. We get it. It's his first time. We understand. Trish, as always, it's good to see you. Okay, I think that might be. If I missed anyone, I apologize. But hello, welcome. So we're gonna get into our first topic, which is a banger of a topic that everybody's been talking about this week since Tuesday. She announced it, correct?
Yes.
Monday or Tuesday.
Mhm.
And that is Gina sues Disney, which I think has been a long time coming. So I will
Yep.
pull up the article, but I am definitely not the expert on this. Our Star Wars panel of lovely ladies, well, the rest of you are. I'm just not a good.
I'm ready for this battle. I
Right.
hope it's
No.
public. I hope it's public trial, please. I want to listen
I
to
know.
this thing.
I'm gonna.
Mhm.
So who knows the starting point, the history of this, that can kind of give a brief overview of why she was fired, all this stuff.
Lily, do you wanna start it out? Were you there from the beginning, or were
Yeah,
you-
I was there
Okay.
from the beginning.
Okay, Lily, I'll turn it over to you. Because I think
What-
the reason why I'm saying this, I think a lot of people confused because a lot of people were, she was comparing conservatives to the Jews during Holocaust and a bunch of other stuff. I don't think people read past the headlines of
Yeah.
actually what she was doing. So I'm going to turn it over to you. You give a little bit of history of where this started.
And then whatever I'm missing, Mags, like feel free to come in and fill things out too. Like I'm gonna try to do this quick. All right, so Gina Carano, she was hired to be on The Mandalorian. She was playing Cara Dune. And when this show came out was around the same time. Season 2 came out around the same time that that big world event happened. So there were a lot of opinions going around about, the possibilities of what it was to wear, masks and getting the poke and all kinds of things, right? So Gina took it upon herself to, express her concerns, which were very valid concerns on her social media. That is her opinion. That is her right to express those concerns and her opinions. Other co-stars of hers as well expressed their opinions. And Gina was actually kind of singled out because it seems that she didn't have the right political leaning that Disney felt that she needed to have. She explains it in her lawsuit, and she explained it in a several interviews too, where she said that they wanted to put her in rooms with several people talking to her at once, basically like putting her through the ringer. And
It was considered, it was like a 40-person struggle
yeah,
session.
that they were
Wow.
all LGBTQ people who wanted to speak to her, because she said that she didn't feel like she needed to put her pronouns in her bio, and that should be.
I have a
Yeah.
question. These were adults that
Yes.
wanted to put another
these were
adult
adults.
in
These were
that
adults.
wanted to
Yep.
express how they felt. People
Yes.
should be hit more. No,
So-
I'm kidding.
so-
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And,
I'm
and
kidding.
something
Okay.
something to add here too. She
Sorry,
was
Lily.
getting a lot of bullying online, like Lily was saying about
Mhm.
she didn't feel, she didn't want to be into, what is it, the phrase compelled speech. So basically being
Mhm.
forced into a situation where she should comply to everything else around her, including everybody else's feelings. I think that's a pretty based statement, to be quite honest. Because we are all our own individuals and we're not the same person. And she was being bullied into putting pronouns in her bio and all that kind of stuff. And it got to the point where it was a joke. But she used basically Star Wars R2D2 language of beep bop boop, because she just had it, it was a joke because she had enough. And you know what? How many times have we been bullied into that kind of situation where we're cornered a little bit, and we do
Mhm.
something like that as a joke to kind of laugh ourselves out of it? And they literally went off the deep end with that one, as if they said that was transphobic. So
these people don't know the definition of freedom of speech,
Nope.
nor
Nope.
do they,
No.
nor will none of them ever survive the apocalypse if they are all worried about how their feelings are when you're in a professional work environment. Like,
correct.
Mhm.
Which, I mean, for her to not have to put her pronouns in her bio, I think is perfectly valid, because I don't feel like I should have to put mine in my bio either. I mean, you guys know me. You know how to address me. If your pronouns are different, you want to be addressed by something different, okay, then you put them in your bio. I don't
Yes.
feel like I have to. So she was basically bullied into this when she said just that. She's like, well, you know how to address me. I don't feel like I need to change anything in my bio. But if you feel like I need to address you in a different way, I will. And that is something that she did say as well. She wasn't being disrespectful to anybody. She wasn't attacking anybody, but they made it seem as if that's what she was doing, that she was mocking everybody by putting the R2D2 sounds as her pronouns. I mean, it's a joke. We can't.
And so they did this where they wanted to put her in a 40-person struggle session, which is basically harassment and bullying her into complying to how they feel and what their reality is.
Oh,
And then
you didn't think it was going to be balanced?
no,
Man,
actually not.
No,
You know,
not at all.
in hindsight, obviously I would never want her to go through that. But if I was her, I would have gone through it and secretly recorded it and just been a whistleblower about it, because that's I feel unethical at some point.
I would have been like Tyrion
in some
in Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
where
Well,
they were.
and she was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to meet these individuals publicly and sit down with them one-on-one and actually have a human to human conversation, where she wants to, she's so sweet. She's so down to earth in terms of, and I don't mean that to just like fluff it up. It's more like she's trying to be a decent human being by trying to understand where they're coming from. But the whole 40-person, it's like this being on a Zoom call, being on a StreamYard type thing. Just imagine all of these 40 squares berating you constantly and telling you that you're wrong for thinking the way you're thinking. I mean, some of us have beliefs in religions and all this other stuff. Can you imagine somebody telling you that how dare you believe the way you believe?
Oh, it would have been a public shaming. It would have been.
Yes,
awful.
it's basically a public shaming. It's almost like a whipping session.
Yeah, no,
So,
it's a digital tar and feathering. Like
Yes.
it was.
Yeah.
Very interesting to me that they wanted to do it over Zoom, right? Because everybody can hide behind a screen. Because I bet you most of those people, if they were forced in a room, even the 40 of them forced in a room with her to tell her how they felt, none of them would have done it.
Well,
at least a
to be
percentage of
fair,
them would be
will
too
kick your
afraid to
ass.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
the thing is they like to hide it behind a screen. They could never look somebody in the eye face to face and tell them the way they feel like that
Oh,
because
keyboard warriors for
yeah,
sure.
keyboard
Yeah.
warriors. Yeah. So then of course she's like
And
Lily
to be
said,
honest,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure this post right here is not what actually got her fired. This was
I
just
agree.
the reason that they found to be able to fire her. It was actually all of the pronoun nonsense. This is just something that she's shared that they took out of context.
Yes.
It reads perfectly well what point she's trying to make, but they took it, they twisted her words, and they said, "Got you." And this is what they used to fire her. But really, it was all the pronoun stuff. They knew they couldn't get her on all of that kind of stuff.
They
This is
needed
ridiculous.
yeah, the pronoun stuff they wanted to get her rid of her on, but this is the thing that kind of broke the camel's back,
Yeah.
so to speak, for them.
Lily, I have a question for you because you are Pedro's #1 fan. How do you feel at the fact that I agree with you. Like they wanted to find a reason, they found a reason, but he also called half of the nation, Rotsies. I'll call them Rotsies.
Yeah.
So like how why isn't he fired?
He didn't stop there. I mean, like you said, I am a fan of his. I had to see all of this stuff. How do you think I felt as a fan of his that he's calling people that are conservatives, Trump supporters, Yahtzees, and hello, I have a lot of those beliefs too. Like, how do you think that made me feel? He didn't think about that, right? He also spread misinformation because he put up a post saying that I don't know how far we can get into it that we won't like get taken down, but yeah, basically it was a picture he shared with information that wasn't correct. And that's also adding to misinformation on the platform. Nobody called him out on it. And yes, I am a fan of his, but this happened to Gina. How come no one ever spoke to him? How come he wasn't put in a Zoom call with like 45 people talking to him, telling him that he shouldn't go around calling people names? Like, I don't understand. And that's something that she put in her lawsuit as well, that she was discriminated against because she's a female and her male co-stars, Pedro and Mark Hamill, were allowed to say whatever they wanted, and they never got any pushback.
I was going to say something
I
about
was
Mark
going to say,
Hamill.
you know why.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Oh yeah.
She's got the wrong political views. That's what it is.
Yep.
Oh, welcome to the rebellion. I deal with that with Stephen King.
It's
Stephen King!
painful.
I cannot stand
it's
him.
painful.
I love it.
Stephen
I love his
King.
books. I'm a big fan of his books.
Steve,
but
shut up.
Such a headache. Oh my gosh.
Every
No.
time I mute him on Twitter, I'm like, how the hell did you get unmuted? I have to go back.
There's some of these people, and it drives me nuts. I noticed it. I've seen it on plenty of years now, but this year it was like, as soon as the ball dropped, it's like it's 2024, and some of these celebrities like, it's 2024. Let's make sure that this insurrection never happens again. And you're like, you can't be happy for like 30 seconds into the year. Like, you already have to make this a political thing. Like, shame on you. Stephen King's one of them. He's just got that. He's got that evil in him. I don't even know if you want to call it evil. I don't even disagree with him.
That's what's keeping him alive. That's
it's like really.
it's like the One Ring of Lord of the Rings. It's keeping everybody living forever, but they look decrepit.
All right. So, sorry. Who was continuing? Back to Gina. She was fired, right? Or we were
that
at
would be Lily. Go ahead, Lily.
Lily. Yes, the 40. She was. They asked her to be basically ridiculed by 40 people, and she said, "Fuck you." Pretty much.
And then of course Disney Lucasfilm could not help themselves. They released a statement where usually if you're at a job or something, they don't want to make you look bad and you don't want to make them look bad. It's kind of like a mutual thing that you give a statement and you're like, okay, we're going to continue forward. And, this person's not going to be here, but we wish them the best of luck in everything they do. No, Disney couldn't do that, of course. They had to release a statement saying that she was no longer going to be employed by them. They didn't have any plans to employ her in the future. And that what she was saying on social media was abhorrent, and that it was, I forget the exact word that they used, but basically that she was being disrespectful to people because of their identity and their religious beliefs, which if you go through all of her posts and everything, she never said anything like that. But that's basically what kind of when we saw that, everyone went nuts, and we were like, oh my gosh, like why would you say something like that? Just don't renew her contract, let it go quietly, do whatever you have to do. But they just couldn't help themselves. So
that timeline, that I remember that day, because I'm sure we all remember that day.
yeah, I remember that day.
It was when Jay was doing his he was fundraising, and it was like, was it within 30 minutes to an hour or something like that? This article came out of an anonymous source saying that she was let go.
Yeah.
And I remember that because I was in chat. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, live. I think somebody interrupted the current topic they were on, and they were like, hey, go to this Twitter post, go to this article, something just happened. And like there was a live reaction to this news, and it's crazy.
And they did that on purpose for that.
Of course
night.
they did.
During
did.
And
now
during Drunk 3PO's live stream and everything for charity. Yeah.
And now
they're that nefarious.
There's like new information that came out today that kind of makes all of this make a little bit more sense. I haven't really been able to look too much into it, but I was watching someone else's video kind of covering the topic as well. But I'll leave that for the end. So then after this, I mean, Disney's a big company. If she wanted to sue, I mean, I believe that she had the right to sue, because this is they're slandering her. They're dragging her name through the mud. She lost her agency because of this. She was basically blacklisted in all of Hollywood. Nobody wanted to hire her. I mean, come on. But because it's Disney, it's kind of a difficult thing to kind of go after them, because how much money are you willing to spend to go through kind of a lawsuit? This.
And yeah, and not only that, what you just last said there, Lily, no attorney wanted to represent her because it's Disney. They didn't want to go up in the ringer with that because they know they wouldn't have a standing chance.
Yeah.
Not only that,
and this was
like whatever she's accused of.
Yeah. And this was back in 2021. Fast forward to, I believe, the end of 2023, right, where Elon put up that post that if anyone had been fired from their job for anything they had posted free speech on Twitter, to reach out to him. And so I remember the post that she made as well. She quote tweeted it, and she said, I think I count. And then several people, like, that one totally took off and went viral. Everyone was like, yes. So he got in contact with her, and then fast forward to today. So Elon Musk actually has his attorneys representing her in the lawsuit for Disney.
she has to change her name to Gina X, though. This is the only way.
And then like the little bit of news that came out today is that apparently this might have this whole thing against her, all of these people that were constantly harassing her, that it might have actually been paid by Leslie Headland.
Yes.
Really?
By Leslie Headland.
So
it was like a little get together thing with Kathleen Kennedy that they kind of plotted this together, and it was funded by.
Well, hold on.
For those who don't know, who is she? Yeah.
She is Harvey Weinstein's former assistant. Just FYIL.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So she knows her thing or two about struggle sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah, she forced so many other working women in Hollywood into struggle sessions. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That was so good. That was good.
I've been waiting for that one.
That was good.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was actually named in the lawsuit as well. That's in the lawsuit. Yeah.
I think also people are focusing too much, because there's a term in the lawsuit that she is requesting to be rehired on to Star Wars. I think people don't realize it's just a legality of the lawsuit itself. I don't think herself would want to be put through, in a sense, like a hostile work environment.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be a win if they would have to be forced to bring her back on set, or legally hire her, or at least pay the salary that would be required.
And I think what the Hollywood Reporter and other trades are doing, they're twisting the words as usual.
Mhm.
I of course I share the legal docs, and it's a reading, so it's kind of one of those things that you have to kind of decipher through. But it's not. I think they're using the words incorrectly. It's not
Mhm.
that she's looking to. I mean, why would you want to be rehired by a toxic work environment? I
Yeah.
don't think so. So what she's trying to do is, one, get her reputation back. Because what Disney and Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland and all of those people have done is that they have literally dragged her name to the mud. They have destroyed her reputation. She's blacklisted from Hollywood because of it. And she just wants her life back. She doesn't want to, I mean,
100%.
if she gets rehired, fine, but that's not the main goal. Her goal, she's asking for a jury trial, so she wants a
Mhm.
jury amongst her own peers. And she also, I think what they really want to do is be able to get the discovery, which means that that Disney has to chalk up emails, messages, DMs, all of this this archive stuff. And as much as they will try to destroy it, they can't, because once it's out in the internet, and it's probably the reason why Elon and his lawyers took on the case and reached out to her is probably because it's just like the Twitter files. They saw something that was there, and that are in the archives, that are in the deep, like the codes of the internet. And obviously something is there for there to be a case. So it'll be interesting. It's being tried in California.
That's what I was going to ask. California or Florida?
Well,
Okay.
and the thing is, they're going to use the whole McCarthy era of verbiage that they use.
Red Scare.
The Red Scare era of like, oh, you can't discriminate against political views and all that kind of stuff. They're using that language of political law in California as part of they put it as part of the jargon of the lawsuit documents. So it's going to be interesting. I hope it's public, because I will literally be having popcorn to watch it all.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The memes would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I will do a play-by-play like I did for Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard.
Oh,
So
we will do.
I would do a watch party.
I'll do a
James and
watch party
Dorks
with
watch
you.
party.
Oh
Yes.
my God,
Yes,
invite
let's
me.
do this. Yes.
If I may,
100%
one more thing on the subject, just saying, I feel like people are downplaying. Oh, she just wants her job back. Or it was like, and you guys were spot on. It was like, no, it's more the point of the thing. You want the court to say, like, no, you have to bring her back. There would be nothing after they forced her out of that room, having the court bring her back in and just have her walk in and go like, what's going on over here? It was like those people would absolutely lose their minds, because they forced her out for the exact reasons that we talked about, and we're not going to pretend like they didn't. And good for her. And and Johnny Depp would be another great example of where someone made these atrocious allegations about them, and that was, as that situation played itself out, it was like, obviously that was not the case.
Yeah,
And
but he was
and,
financially and his work was taken away. He was replaced for the Fantastic Beasts series because of it. They didn't go forward with the Pirates of the Caribbean because of it, all because of these allegations.
yes, absolutely.
And not only, he didn't do it necessarily to get his job back. He knew that he was messed up too. He just wanted his reputation back. It's just like Gina. I listened to a soundbite. She was not to go into politics about it, but she's been interviewed several times, and she was interviewed this morning by Glenn Beck on The Blaze, and never once did she talk about getting her job back on The Mandalorian. She never mentioned it at all. She said one of the biggest things that she said was that she said previous generations fought for inclusivity. If she has to be the one to break the ceiling like she did in the women's MMA, then she wants to do it here because she wants to do it for younger generations. She doesn't want the younger generations to have to fight. If she said, if I have to fight for everybody else for the future, that's what I'm going to have to do, because this is a fight for the future. And it was the way she's so eloquent how she says it, but of course, better than me. I'm not a wordsmith like she is, but she never once talked about getting her job back. She talked about implications of the future. Like this is we're at a crossroads, culturally and politically, and we're at it. So, I am rooting for her. We're all rooting for her. I'm going to speak for everybody here. I think we're all rooting for her. I mean, I think we need to fight back to bring back normalcy in entertainment and culture and just in our normal everyday lives again, rather than ostracizing each other because of political or religious or any kind of belief system.
It's interesting to me. Two things. It's interesting. I 100% believe she is making waves. I am very curious of who will follow suit, because if this is successful with Elon's help,
Roseanne Barr,
Kara too, our friend Kara, who got fired for liking tweets before she was even hired by,
and for following people too.
Yeah, conservative.
Oh, Kara at Ripperverse?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. No, that was insane.
Yeah, that's another one too. But I'm curious to see what legs Disney will be standing on to fight this back, because
they're gonna settle. They're gonna settle.
Oh yeah,
sure.
just seeing the nasty comments from people when everybody supported her when this was released, and all the nasty comments I saw in everybody's reply of people calling her a bigot, calling her a racist, saying this and that, knowing like, you guys, you don't do your research. You have nothing to stand on. You are just literally going by what the mass says. You're a mass hive, and you don't think for yourself. And it's really, really sad.
Yeah, I was going to say those things echo too. So if you have one person saying it, you have 100 people. If you have 100,
it's also crazy that Elon actually opened it up to, he put out a tweet and he said, if you want to file a lawsuit against Disney specifically, he said to reach out to him. So I don't think it's just going to be Gina's, because if you've noticed, like throughout the news, there's been a couple of articles here and there about several different people who the majority of them happen to be women that are actually suing Disney.
Oh, gee, the force is female? Aha, really?
Apparently not. Before we continue, I know Nomi's got to hop off. She's got birthday celebrations, so I want to give her a chance to tell everybody where to follow and where she's going to be next. So you get the big screen. There you go.
How the majority of women being let go by Disney, it's kind of like weird. So yeah, the force is female only if you are with Henry or Harvey Weinstein. So yes. But yes, I'm gonna take off, guys. I have some plans later on, but I was happy to hang out with you guys and chat a little bit about this topic, because this is a near dear topic to my heart. I want the best for Gina. I know she can win this. But as far as me, you guys can find me on Twitter or Twix at Nomi Without You and Midnight's Edge Espanol. I will be there doing shorts, and I will be making a short on my recap of MegaCon. So you guys can catch me there when I post my my content.
All right. Well, we will let Nomi get to her birthday celebrations. Have a good birthday, Nomi. I don't know what I'm saying.
Love you, Nomi. Happy birthday.
Love you. Have a
Nomi.
Have fun. So I this kind of branches with the same kind of topic because Disney had their earnings call right yesterday, and I know Mags, you took a bunch of notes.
I didn't take notes, but I listened, and there's several things that have come out, but go ahead.
Okay. No, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you tell the people what you heard, because I think we were listening to the same stream.
Yes, Valiant Renegade.
Okay. Yes.
Really, I will shout him out. Valiant Renegade is a great news source for this kind of information.
I listened to a little bit of what you guys are talking about yesterday as well.
Yes. So, and really, that was the first quarter earning, or is it last quarter's earning call, whatever earnings call, I forget what it's called, but these types of regular quarter earnings calls are not as let's see here, fun. The annual yearly earnings call, which is in April, is going to be the best one to want to listen to. So definitely make sure you keep an eye out on the next time he brings that up. It's when everybody can have a Q&A. So it's not just the banks. So that's the best one. So of course, many people who are investors who are not banks will have a lot to say on that matter. So he'll put Bob Iger on the spot. But hashtag dang it, Bob, by the way, while we're transitioning into the earnings call.
Oh, that's very good. Very good.
But couple of things. They talked about ESPN a lot, and they're doing an ESPN bundle with some other packages there, like a streaming service.
The Hulu.
The Hulu
bundle,
thing. Yeah, the Hulu thing. They're trying to do their own live version of sports. They also are hosting Taylor Swift's Eras tour.
That's how they're making all their money back. By
That's
the way.
how-
That's how to...
So it's funny that Peacock comes out with like live NBC, or football coverage, and then Disney comes out and says, "Ha, we're gonna do Taylor Swift." But anyway,
I think she just landed yesterday here in Vegas too.
oh, there. Well, she's ready for the Super
do
Bowl.
you have her jet tracker that she was getting all mad about, or?
No, I'm a local, and we're all not very thrilled with the Super Bowl. So
I'm from Detroit, so I'm really not.
I'm originally from Chicago, so I understand.
The Lions almost made it.
I
The
was
Bears
rooting for
always
them.
almost make it.
I was rooting for the Lions because I was like,
I was rooting for the Lions too. Yeah.
To be honest, I'm
Hey,
rooting for the
guys,
49ers
you.
this time because I cannot stand the Chiefs, and it's just I can't stand Taylor Swift. I can't stand her boyfriend.
I was just hoping for different teams rather than the typical teams that seem to be favored all the time by
Rachel, are
I
you
didn't have a
football
problem with it
person?
until people started calling Travis Kelce Taylor Swift's boyfriend, and it was like it has been infiltrated.
Rachel, do you have a say on the matter?
On football?
On what?
On football. Taylor
That's your
Swift.
answer.
I know 2 sports, and they're both nerdy as hell.
What are your two
I know
Quidditch.
Quidditch. Ask me
Okay.
anything about Quidditch.
That's fine.
I
Hey,
can
I'm
tell
with
you.
you.
Alright.
I'm with you.
Or for my comic nerds out there, Calvin Ball. Any Calvin and Hobbes fans out there?
I'll
tell you about
So,
Calvin
so
Ball.
you've named
That's
2
it.
fake sports.
Yep. Yeah.
that are probably more entertaining than
Yeah,
the Super Bowl
absolutely.
this year, so.
My one wish for the Super Bowl would be that Dr. Rachel designed the pads for the.
Oh God, yes, that'd be fun.
That's hilarious. But
All right, back to Disney earnings. Sorry.
so
Sorry,
the Disney earnings call, a couple of things that stood out. One thing I noticed, and Nadia can probably agree with me because I know you. I saw you in chat, girl. I saw you there. It seemed like with Gina's news from the day before, which it seemed like with this earnings call, they were just throwing up news onto the wall to be able to see what sticks. One of it was the Moana 2 movie that's going to be Moana.
Moana.
I say Moana. I'm sorry.
Am I
Tomato-
not saying Lily,
tomato,
how do you say it?
tomato?
Yeah, it's potato.
Tomato,
Really?
tomato.
Moana. Dr. Rachel, how do you say it?
Moana.
Okay.
Moana.
I will say Moana. I don't care.
Moana. Where's the
Moana.
W in it?
Everybody,
it's
it's okay, guys. We all have different accents, so just
That's-
say
I'm
it.
the last person to say
I'm a
it.
Southern girl. I say things differently.
Yeah,
these
yeah.
parts.
Like,
Continue.
I like
yeah,
how Max says it too.
yeah. Moana.
Now I'm
Moana.
conscious, Nadia.
No,
Thanks a
sorry,
lot.
sorry.
But anyway, so they announced that, which was supposed to be a TV series released on Disney Plus, but clearly they scrambled because they need something to be released in theaters for that. They also have several sequels coming out that were announced. Lily can probably back me up on some of those sequels. They also
Mustafa was one.
the Mufasa prequel.
Oh,
And let me
Mufasa.
tell you, I am literally a Lion King fan. I never liked the live action, which wasn't live action. It was just CGI animals. So it's no way it's live action. So them doing something for Mufasa, I am going to be pissed.
Yeah,
So
no.
anyway.
It's gonna, there's gonna be some throwaway line like, "I hope I don't die in a stampede one
Oh
day."
my
And,
god.
it's gonna be
Can
so
they come up with
stupid.
anything original?
No,
There are a ton of fairy tales from all different types of cultures that have not been brought to screen or just you can redo. Why do they have to fucking continue with the same stuff over and over?
Because
Well,
it's the freshest in their
Mufasa,
heads.
Wakanda forever.
Well, and I noticed that in the earnings call, because the last several earnings call, Bob Iger usually like to bring up COVID
Oh, I was gonna
Oh
say
to
my God.
as a blame. He didn't bring it up this time, but he kept bringing up Avatar, and I'm thinking, Bob, you do realize Disney did not create that. You're just a distributor. You're nothing but a distributor now. You don't even create anything that's actually original. Avatar is not yours. It's you
Fuck
are
that
the
movie.
And
You're the-
also, I don't know if you've gone on the IMDb, but like James Cameron, chill out with all the disclosed Avatar sequels. So it was like,
I don't need to know about 5 and 6.
Yeah.
You might not even make it to 5 and 6. Like
That's
calm
like George
down.
R.R. Martin talking about like, well, in Hints of Spring, it was like, shut up and finish Winds of Winter. Before
What,
you're
been like
gonna-
12 years? 12 years from
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
no, it's-
I think I
Yeah,
saw this
about
coming up on
12.
13. Yeah.
84 years, guys. 84 years.
84 years.
Yes.
But
And
anyway,
counting.
and then there was a
I
and
ran
then,
out of books to read. Come on. Sorry,
But then-
Mags.
no, you're
That
good.
snow has just been dead in the snow.
But another highlight that I picked up on, especially for those of us who are gamers out there, is
Oh,
the fact
the Epic
it's
game.
that yep, Disney and Epic Games are teaming up and they're doing this Epic verse. And of course, it's funny. I have to look up the quote if I can, but Bob Iger made a quote about suddenly discovering about the youth playing video games and blah blah blah. And I'm like, you are such a freaking boomer. Sorry for all the boomers who are at that age, but I'm just like, you are just discovering this now. You have Kingdom Hearts, you have other Disney games, you have other things out there, and you just suddenly decided to you discovered that you get the attention from the youth now. Like, what is this? Are we living in some weird Twilight Zone that you're just kind of like, oh, like I'm a blonde and you act like a blonde, Bob? Okay, stop it. Just wake up.
I think people forget that when he retired the first time, he kind of set the groundwork for all of this
Yes, he
stuff
did.
that's now fallen apart. And
Yes.
the other Bob was just kind of thrown to the wolves, as not saying he was right in any way. He shouldn't have bowed down to the mobs, but he was kind of thrown under the bus, and then they brought this Bob back, and now he's blaming the other Bob. Bob 2. Bob 1 is blaming Bob 1 too.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this company is just falling apart. And the easiest way for them to fix it is just go back to what you guys originally were for, families. Just go back to creating good storytelling for families where parents now have to first watch the movie before even letting their kids watch it. When back in the day, my parents were like, oh, a Disney movie came out? Perfect. Just pop it in without even pre-watching it. Now you can't do that nowadays.
No, that's why I felt so bad when I saw Elemental. I was like, this is a very solid flick, and like it's just gonna get buried because like there's certain people who can't keep their mouths shut on certain things. It was the same thing with the new even though she didn't directly quote it, but the director for the new Star Wars movie, when that quote first came out, she was like, oh, I want this film to make men uncomfortable, and it was like,
Oh, Jesus.
way to sacrifice half of your demographic before the film even starts shooting. Like
It's not
that's
even
what
half of
happened
your
with Dungeons and Dragons, and it wasn't even the case. I ended up liking that movie, and someone said something stupid like, oh, we like belittling men, and it
But
was like that
the-
never happened.
The problem is men are not half of the Star Wars demographic. They are the majority of the demographic. It is making it into a girl hobby, which it's not, but girls can enjoy it. I mean, Lily's one of the biggest Star Wars fans out there, and she's able to enjoy it. She doesn't have to have
course.
things catered to her. And to make it now a girl brand is completely destroying that.
Yeah, no, to say something like the Force is female is absolutely asinine. And it was like,
Yeah,
well,
like,
no, the
no.
Force is the Force. Anyone can use the Force. That was the point of all of it is, like, and I think we've all tried this. Have you ever been like sick and the remote's on the other chair and you just try to reach
Force it.
and grab it for you? Yes, and it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
anyone can have that magic, and it's like it has nothing to do with a male female thing. If you're gonna tell me that Princess Leia wasn't a strong female character, you're out of your mind. It was like, aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper? And I'm like, oh,
Yeah. I
like
have her blaster tattooed on my leg. She's
but
but I
she's
don't
awesome.
I don't need to be told Star Wars is a girl brand. I will find what I enjoy. I love Star Wars from the ground up. I don't need it to be catered to me because of my sex.
Yeah, no, and that's really what it is when you start to put these weird labels on something that really doesn't matter. That would be like the same thing in Harry Potter, going like, well, women are better wizards than
I mean, we are witches.
because you guys can use
Well,
cauldrons.
So
here's
I learned that
another
from Shakespeare.
here's another example that just happened last year with Barbie. Weren't there a bunch of women who were upset because the one that was getting all the attention was Ken?
Yeah. But Barbie is a female brand.
Actually, even better.
Yeah,
There were
Barbie's
women
a
who were
female
upset that
brand.
Margot Robbie didn't, or that who's the dude who played Ken?
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan-
Of course,
yeah.
Lily would know.
Human
Ryan
specimen
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling got best supporting actor, and they're like, and Margot Robbie didn't get.
But
Margot Robbie didn't get nominated. It was like, guys, that's two different categories.
But
it has nothing to do with the patriarchy or
America
anything
Ferrera.
else. That's a different thing.
But America Fair, we talked about this on one of our streams because I brought up
Yeah.
that point too. But then I forgot. Lily pointed it out. America got nominated. Shouldn't we be celebrating that America got nominated, especially as one of the as a Latina woman too as well? But no, we got to focus.
But that's the
all women.
example. That's the example. Women didn't like that Barbie wasn't getting the attention versus Ken because this is a woman's brand. So why should men not be upset that they're trying to turn this into a woman's brand when it's not? And like, ask Mags. Mags is a huge fan too. Once they started making the changes to the Force is female, did we enjoy it as much? No. There was nothing wrong with it before. We liked the way that it was before. You don't need to cater it to me because that's not why I liked it. I liked it because of what it already was. Like,
absolutely.
Luke Skywalker was my favorite growing up at watching the OG trilogy on VHS tapes before the specialized edition days. So Disney can shove it up its butt.
And
I've
on
said
Barbie's
this about
note,
every point in pop culture is when they started focusing on identity over personality. It's
because
like,
your identity now is your personality. Which
a
makes
good
no
example
fucking sense.
for me is in DC. They made Tim Drake's Robin bisexual, and they always make the character bisexual so that way they could put their foot in the door. And then when everyone goes like, well, we have 30 years of continuity, why don't we reel that back in? They were like, well, he dates girls too and guys. Like, it's not. But so they do stupid stuff like that. And that's not to say that I have any problem with anybody identifying their own way. But when they say like, oh, Tim Drake, he's in the LGBTQIA 2+ community. It's gotten so long I don't even know the acronym. But I'm saying it was like, I have no problem with that. But the reason that we like this character is that he jumps off of rooftops and he fights ninjas and supervillains. Who he decides to take to dinner is arguably the least interesting thing about him. Like, no one reads the Spider-Man issues to go like, oh, I really hope he takes Mary Jane to the movies. Like,
read romance if you want romance. That's not
and they had that, and that was Archie Comics, and it was like, and it's been very popular for years and years and years. We don't need those things to cross pollinate. We don't.
Well, it's-
you know what I mean?
It's like the fact that they're like right now, like with anything that a lot of these corporations are doing, is that they're trying to
Lily.
I like that.
Yeah,
Lily.
no, I tried to play
LG
it off.
downstairs
But it's like with any of these corporations, they like to jump on the bandwagon of the youth or the identity of the youth or whatever. And I found the quote from Bob Iger about the announcement of the video game stuff, and I laughed my butt off. I was like, "This is such a boomer ass take." Excuse me for saying it like that. But he says, "Quote: When I saw Gen Z and Gen Alpha and millennials, some of us are millennials.
Wait a minute.
here.
Who's Gen Alpha?
Yeah, where the hell did Gen Alpha come from?
I have no idea. The amount of time they were spending in terms of total media screen time on video games, it was stunning, equal to what they spend on TV and movies. The conclusion I reached, we have to be there. Bob, you've been there. What the hell, dude? Like, the thing is, it's just like people go like, oh, the youth play video games, or they're into this, whatever. But the problem is, what they forget is that the reason why a lot of us like gaming is because there's a lot of quality there. And yes, we're not watching your content, Bob, because guess what? There's no quality there. So why would we want to spend the money on junk entertainment when we can spend it hours upon hours upon hours with quality video game content? And like Lily and I and a couple others last night, we played Power World together. That's the kind of quality. It's not just quality content. It's also quality time with other people who also enjoy the same thing and have fun. I'm not having fun watching any of your content, Bob.
Bob said he wants to
side
invest
note.
in rock and roll music because it's something the kids can really swing their hips to.
I found out that Pal World is for Xbox, and I have an Xbox, and it's cross-platform, so I can play Pal World now.
Nice.
So
Yes,
that's a long-winded way of saying I would like to play Pal World with you.
Yes.
Yay!
We haven't heard from Dr. Rachel. I want to give her a little bit of time
I
to kind
know.
of.
Sorry, I've been
Oh
talking.
God.
Yes. Yeah. Rachel, chime in. Come on. Tell us your opinion, Doctor.
Well, my opinion is I haven't had time to get into Pal World yet, but I do have it downloaded, and I will soon. I will start it soon. I finally have a day off and a bunch of days off next week, so I'll do that.
Yes.
But yeah, I just gotta say to just bounce off Mags, Bob. I mean, that says it all, really. I mean, I don't really have anything else to add. Like, y'all have said it perfectly already.
You need to make a short of everyone just going Bob, Bob.
Yeah.
Bob.
I also am very curious of why women are upset that Ryan Gosling won or got nominated, when as an adult woman, I liked the Barbie movie, but I mean, as an adult woman, you're gonna be looking at Ken most of the time. So like, come on.
It's an entirely
I'm not gonna have a
different
poster.
category.
Listen,
Yeah.
Margot Robbie's beautiful, but I'm not gonna have a poster of Margot Robbie on my wall. I'm gonna have a poster of shirtless Ryan Gosling as Ken. So I'm just
I
saying.
might go with the Margot Robbie.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, it's their-
Shocking.
That was another thing when they said that when that thing online where like Margot Robbie's mid, and I was like, oh, Barbie, who they picked to like look like Margot Robbie's who they chose. So like, shut up.
better than Amy. What is Amy? Who's the comedian? The blonde.
Oh, Amy Schumer, the one,
That was
the one
who
who
was
said it
gonna be
wasn't
originally.
feminist enough. And I was like, shut up. You
Oh.
were going to play Barbie's RV at best.
Now, I liked it, and I know a lot of people didn't, but to think if it wasn't feminist enough for her, I probably wouldn't have liked it if it was the script that she was pushing then.
It would have been a Nazi propaganda film.
Mhm. We say Yahtzee.
yeah, Yahtzee,
Yahtzee.
propaganda film.
So I guess we'll move on to our next topic. Holy cow, we've been talking about this for an hour.
But like one more time, Bob.
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 You know what? I know there was a rumor going around about Elon potentially buying Disney. A rumor as
Never
in
gonna
like,
happen.
people would want him to buy Disney, but I'm like, wouldn't that be the fucking kicker, man?
He's hanging out with Nelson Peltz.
I know. I mean, like,
wouldn't
Wouldn't that be the kicker? Wouldn't that be like he bought Twitter, which made all the keyboard warriors angry, but yet they're still on Twitter.
No,
And
of course.
and if they buy Disney, they're all gonna boycott it. But think how nice the parks and the content would be.
Oh my god.
Wait, what would happen to Gina's case if like Elon is
know.
backing her and she's suing Disney, but then Elon buys Disney?
Cara
assume
Dune
what
would
would
just
happen
be on
there.
the Mandalorian.
I guess it would be a Cara Dune
Cara would be
series.
back.
Yeah.
She would get her Rangers of the Republic series that we
yeah,
are
yeah,
both
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
wanted to watch.
He probably would just pay her off, be like,
Yeah.
here's the settlement amount, in good faith, and be like, I'll give you your own series. You can choose who you want to work with. Because I believe who's the creator of Mandalorian?
John Favreau.
I believe he didn't want to fire her at all. Like he
No, he
wanted her
didn't.
actually back.
He was the one that actually hired her. Like this role was specifically made for her. Like this
Yeah.
wasn't a casting thing. Like it was just Gina. That's it.
That's another thing
Yeah.
too. It was like you have guys like John Favreau and Dave Filoni, and they're like, who should direct the new direction of Star Wars? And it was like, well, probably the guys who've shown that they care about the lore and the direction of it. Was like the same thing with Rings of Power, where there was like a Tolkien expert, and he was like, I don't know if I agree with this, and they're like, you're fired. You have you know too
No.
much about J.R.R. Tolkien
Yeah.
for you to write on the Rings of
telling you,
Power.
Kathleen Kennedy knows where the bodies are buried. I'm
Oh, I
telling you.
swear to
She's
God.
got something. She's got
Um,
something. For a
yeah.
while, I was like, something must be, her woohoo might be made out of gold. Must be that good. But I really think she's got she knows where some of these people's bodies
I
are
have to
buried, or
agree.
blackmail, or something on it. Just yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's absolutely stupid at this point. It was like, we get it. Jurassic Park was awesome. All the Indiana Jones. I haven't seen the newest one. I hear it's bad.
Don't
but
do it. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do
I
it to yourself.
can't. I literally can't.
I tried watching the Marvels side note the other day because I hadn't seen it, and I was like, okay, I was like, this is not too bad, 20 minutes. I'm like, I can't do this. I had to turn it off because I did not understand what was going on, because I never watched the Miss Marvel series, and I never was a Captain Marvel fan to begin with. But sorry for, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm on my own for some reason. On it, the Force is female. That's all we need to know. Anyway, shall we get in? Yes, sorry, I'm not on my segue game as well as I was last year. We'll get into Sonic 3 because that kind of is Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yes,
Wars.
that's actually with the big rumor that I can confirm myself.
Oh, I heard this as well.
Jim Carrey will be reprising his role as the mad scientist, Dr. Robotnik, in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which is very interesting to me because I believe he does not want to work anymore. Not because he's lazy, but he just doesn't want to deal with Hollywood anymore.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
But what Lily was talking about, and I think, let me see if I can find it. I think it's this one. Give me 1 second. Oh, it's a trailer. Okay, hold on. Can I play it? And that's Hayden Christensen's voice, correct, Lily?
Is it really?
Everyone is saying that it's Jim Carrey. That's not Jim Carrey. That's Hayden Christensen.
That doesn't even sound at all like Jim Carrey.
I'm like, I can actually link you to a YouTube video of someone who's a crazy Hayden Christensen fan like me, who actually made a video of nothing but him laughing.
I'm
Oh,
a huge
do it. Send it. Send it. Put it in the private. I'll pull it up.
Let me
But-
see.
By the way, that is the spoileriest spoiler to ever spoiler. It was just like,
Well,
just
he's
shows
voicing Knuckles, right? That's
no,
what-
he's Shadow, I believe.
Shadow.
Shadow. Sorry, Knuckles was last. Sorry, I am not as
Yeah,
adverse
Knuckles
with
was Idris
Hedgehog.
Elba.
Okay. I played Sonic the Hedgehog when I was very young, but I am not up in the lore. Leon, Words of Paradise is a big Sonic fan. He's probably like, "Whoa, somebody miscalled a Sonic character and didn't even know."
I have the Saturday morning cartoon on DVD.
Mm. Oh, really? I remember that.
Mostly
really-
just because the theme song is a banger.
Okay, let's see. Put in the private. Oh no. Okay. Mags is
Oh,
back.
I'm
We're
going,
talking
I'm
Sonic
going,
3.
Oh, okay, good. I will have to write down that timestamp, but yes, I will.
Oh, you're fine.
I'll tell you about
Uh,
that later.
What's
Putting
interesting
it
to
in
me
the private.
what's interesting to me about Sonic is now we are on Sonic 3. And the first one was great after they redesigned Sonic and not give us that uncanny valley awful looking hedgehog. I thought the second one kind of lived up to the first one. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was good enough that I didn't feel like the quality was diminished. And now we're on a third one. And where is Disney with all of these other studios putting stuff out like this? Oh, okay, hold on.
But that's a good question, Nadia. I mean, look at even Paramount Plus is coming out with a Knuckles show. So in preparation for some of this. So this is really interesting. And of course, Lily and I were on top of this when we heard this. We were like, ah!
I was like, oh, that's Hayden.
That is Hayden's voice.
Yes.
It's been rumored.
Like, watch. As soon as you like listen to it and then listen to the way that the laugh in the trailer, you're gonna be like, yeah, that's him.
All right, let me play this.
Careers in
Oh, that's 100%
yeah.
him. That's 100%.
He actually goes commando.
He's such a dork when he laughs. I love it.
See?
I have
That's
also,
him.
there was no touching.
This is the best one of all,
Oh my God,
unquestionably.
Lou,
This is
Ultimately.
Yeah, no, that's him.
Yeah, I
That's
can hear it.
Yeah. The first laugh definitely gave it away.
I would just love to see like the Sonic promo, and then you just hear him. I hate sand.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this movie. I thought like I said, I thought the first two were pretty cute. The third one's pretty good. It's a wholesome quality. It's somewhat funny. Second one not so much, but it's not pushing political or agendas. It's just a wholesome movie about Sonic the Hedgehog.
And they listened to their fan base in the beginning. You know, like they said, "Oh, you don't like that design?
Well,
we want you to like the product that we're putting." I was like, "So we'll change," and they did. And you know, I'm pretty sure Chris Chan was in jail, but like he didn't have to mace anybody at a GameStop because he didn't like the Sonic character design. And
It's funny you mentioned that because talking about pleasing your audience, Sonic 2 was supposed to be the last of Jim Carrey, and he out of retirement. He decided to reprise his role for Sonic 3, and that's a big deal because he said he wasn't going to do anymore. So it's kind of like it seems like the people behind these movies, I mean, I would say they're B quality, but they're quality enough where everybody can enjoy it. Families can. The thing is, we are so lacking in family entertainment. Disney, I'm looking at you, Bob. Bob. But we're lacking. It's so much like good family entertainment where like the whole family can enjoy and not have to worry about stupid crap and everything. And we talking like Nadia said earlier about screening and such. And here's Sonic, and then Paramount's coming out with a Knuckles show. I mean, it's just like this is a no-brainer. And I was having a conversation with somebody on Twitter earlier today. And you know he has young children, you know, his family of his own, and it's like I can bring my children to this. I'm looking forward to this, and this is a great time for them to release this movie at Christmas time. I mean, it's like a family time event, so it's just I'm excited. Like I don't have kids of my own. I hope so one day, but I would like. I don't know. Like I'm an adult. Yes, I'm in my 30s, but I like family entertainment too, because sometimes you just need that wholesome, you need that balance between wholesome versus adult stuff to be able to kind of get a perspective.
Well, Max,
So-
you bring up a great point too, where you said like, "Hey, the first one was good. The second one was also good." They don't all need to be grand slams either. You know what I mean? It was like I don't remember every single movie I ever watched as a child growing up in the 90s and going like, "Wow, Oscar worthy," as was the last. I was like, it's good to have a little variety out of there. This is, like you said, this is garden variety. Good. It would be the same thing. I guess I would attribute it to like watching the Jetsons or the Flintstones with my parents going like, yeah, I watched that as a kid. It was like, if my kid was watching something like that, it was like, yeah, I played Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, Knuckles is, the cool one because you can glide, like, yeah, but that's, it doesn't need to be like an out of the park. Oh my God. I'm going to reevaluate my life from this piece of cinema. It's filler stuff. That's a good show to have on when the kid's doing chores.
You don't have to pre-screen it either.
Yes,
you don't.
I don't have to worry. Yeah, I don't have to worry. Unless they got in the whole Uncle Chuck stuff. That stuff got dark. To my knowledge, they don't have that.
And I was seeing stuff online from people who saw like some of the Knuckles show previews, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is like a callback to such and such game and everything else." And like I'm like, that's how you win your fans. You win your fan base, like, by dropping some Easter eggs here and there, by giving them the little drops of nostalgia, but also it's good for the next generation that people who grew up with this stuff, like the Mario movie did. It's the same concept. So it's kind of like, Bob, are you listening?
Well, the
D&D
movie, the D&D movie did the same thing. The D&D movie gave Easter eggs for old school D&D players, but also kept it new and fresh for those who had maybe entered during the Critical Role hype era. And it was a wholesome movie, a positive fatherhood line. Like it was refreshing as somebody who's a fan of D&D and role-playing games like that, to go in and not to have agenda politics shoved down my throat through the IP stuff that I enjoy as an adult and as a child too.
I mean, even as a kid, I knew when I was getting preached to.
Yeah, but it wasn't like in the history of movies, it's all creators have always put their beliefs and point of views in what they create, right? Left, right, middle, whatever you believe in. It's always been in Hollywood. It's in your books, it's in your games, but it wasn't the driving force. I feel, I don't know when it stopped being something that was kind of in the background, and if you got it, you kind of got it. If you didn't, it's okay. It kind of went over your head, but you can still enjoy the content. Because movies used to be something called of like an escapism, where you're meant to feel things. You meant to cry, laugh, be moved by what's on screen, but not have to have stuff being shoved down your throat continuously of how you should think outside the world. This is how you should be acting outside of the world, instead of just giving me the escapism from the real world for 2 hours.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I was like, it's just so many people with their head where the sun don't shine, just going like, this is important. And it's like, shut up. I want to watch a cartoon duck. I'm not looking for you to change my worldview on every single piece of media that I consume. And don't get me wrong, it can be important and it can be groundbreaking and it can be wonderful, but not everybody is Stanley Kubrick. Not everybody is, it was like, like sometimes shut up and make Sonic 3.
Yeah.
Thank
God, not everybody's Kubrick. I don't think we would have a movie industry if every movie came out. Now, granted, I love some Kubrick stuff, but you have to have some variety. Everybody has different tastes and appeal to art differently.
Wheel of Fortune would be so intense if it was by Kubrick. Like,
oh my gosh.
No. Okay. Any other Sonic points before we move on to our next topic? No? Okay. I'll take that as a no.
We're just excited to see Hayden.
Okay. Hey, I get it.
I think
get it.
we're excited to see all these great actors and actresses coming back, as well as surprise ones like Hayden, but also something to look forward to. That's I would call it a B rated, but it's quality enough where we all enjoy it. You know, B rated movies are also good movies too. So
Well, I was listening to you, Max. It's a good movie to take your kids to during. I mean, I used to every Thanksgiving or Christmas, it'd be a family tradition of just going to the movies because there would always be a blockbuster during that time that was catered to. Disney usually owned the box office during that time, or DreamWorks. You know, there
For
would always be
decades.
a family oriented movie where you're like, oh,
it was like an
dinner's
experience.
over. Yeah, Harry Potter movies came out mostly during Thanksgiving. When they were coming out, and that was a big event too. So it's
Lord of the Rings came out in December too.
Lord of the Rings.
That was that my parents took me out of school the next day to see Return of the King at midnight when it was an actual midnight showing. So that tells you something.
It's sad. I don't see that nowadays. I don't see a movie that is so well marketed and driven for families that it's the number one movie in the blockbuster for the weekend.
Well,
Yeah,
I think a lot of that has to do with the extended continuity that everyone's trying to push, where it was like, well, if you saw this movie, you have to see this show.
Yeah.
And it was like little kids don't got the attention span for that.
No.
You know what I mean?
I don't have the attention span for that. I'm working. So it's
I think Frozen 2 probably was Disney's last biggest hit, maybe.
Yeah, and it's a shame because Elemental was good. I mean, it really was a solid flick.
I feel like that was the last big Disney movie, not related to Star Wars or Marvel, that was big for taking your kids.
But
to.
all of those
so.
all of those big franchises that you just named have really didn't do as well as you would think they would. Like Disney was at a loss this year.
There's also the argument of how streaming services has kind of destroyed the whole aspect of going to movies. Movies are also very expensive. It's very expensive to take a family of four to the movies, get popcorn, snacks, all that stuff as well. Movie theaters aren't doing so well, especially mom and pop theaters. People are like, oh, I really want to see this movie, but and TVs are so well built nowadays that people are like, you know what, I'll just wait to see it in my 75-inch TV at home. I don't have to deal with driving, the gas, the money, the tickets. I might as well just wait and buy it to stream on your own TV.
And not only that, but you're talking about a lot of these big time companies like Disney and everything else. They're not producing quality content, whereas indie studios seemingly are coming out of are the up and comers.
Segue.
Like, segue. See what I'm doing there? I'm learning from the master over here.
Yes.
Angel Studios, of course, is acquiring. Was behind The Sound of Freedom, and The Chosen has acquired the worldwide rights to the indie drama Sight, starring Terry Chen and Greg Kinnear. So they are really starting to become a major factor in the Hollywood space, where they're not only acquiring content and distributing it, but they're also creating their own stuff as well. So this is a major deal. Lily, do you have any thoughts or anything on this at all? Dr. Rachel?
Dr. Bob.
Dr. Bob. Yeah, Bob.
Whoa, when did that happen? I'm not sure. I mean, I just think it's great that these studios are actually listening to audiences, figuring out what people like. They're getting feedback. They're genuinely concerned and making good movies, good shows that people are going to want to go to and enjoy. They're picking up. They're becoming a big name player, which is great because it's just like the last few movies I went to see that are like big studios, not great. Like the one I just saw this past weekend was terrible. So I'm looking forward to actually. Yep.
Was
It was terrible. It was
That
terrible.
That's a shame.
fucking
Dang it, Bob! Even though
There's
he
the
didn't have anything
haircut.
to do with
I
it.
I could go on. I could go on for a while about Argyle, but I won't. It's not one of our topics unless we have some time at the end. But yeah. So
Ah.
I'm really hoping. I'm really
Wow.
hoping
Henry Cavill's there.
to have good things about this. I don't know much.
They're
I
like,
don't
how
know
can we
much
get the
about Sight."
sexiest man in Hollywood to make it look like he smells like pee?
It's that stupid. I fucking hate that hair.
I just
Nadia,
wanted,
did you see that already?
want to be in the pitch for that movie. It was like, what if Henry Cavill cut his own hair?
Oh my god, that whoever that hairstylist should be fired.
For
It's
real.
so bad.
I
should,
mean,
like,
they
go
do
snip,
poke
snip
fun
on
of it. They do poke fun at it, like within the movie itself. So they do
Thank
have a couple
God.
of those moments. But even so, like just the writing again, not
I
the
took my
topic.
wife
We're
to go
talking
see
about
Wonka.
Sight. But yeah.
And like,
Really?
one, I didn't know it was going to be a musical.
Mm.
And two, it was like,
What?
It's a musical.
yeah.
What?
Oh my god.
Mhm.
Okay, in the beginning, he's on a boat by himself and he's singing a song, and you're like, okay, he's saying like World of Pure Imagination, and they had like Oompa Loompa. There was music in the original Willy Wonka film, but he's on a boat by himself, and you're like, okay, and then he lands, and when he lands in a crowded area, and everyone kind of like looks around like, what the hell are you singing for? And I was like, oh great, it's self-aware. And then the second song started. And I'm like, oh no, like, you know, and it was like, it wasn't even like a well-written musical. Like you could just tell it was like, they were like phoning it in. Like they were making up words instead of trying to rhyme them. They're like chocolate, schmocklet, bocklet. And you're like, oh God, this is just unbearable.
Wow.
But like I said, it's a beautiful film to watch, but also like there was no, not that I need my expectations subverted on every single thing. It definitely didn't work in Star Wars. I don't want my expectations subverted there, but it's like there was no like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen here. Like everybody foreshadows what they're going to do. You know what's going to happen, and you're going like, well, if these smaller studios are getting any play, then make it like the 70s where it was like a new renaissance where all these no-name directors are coming in and doing absolutely wonderful things. Yes, let's get away from the big studios. That's one of the wonderful things about like the internet and the medium that we have, is that the people who probably 10, 20 years ago wouldn't have the opportunity to make a movie do, and they can do it from their own. And you know what, if these big studios like it, they can pick it up and use it with a bigger budget. But if not, I've seen movies shot from an iPhone that seem
Look better.
passable.
Yeah,
You know, like
it's I'm so disappointed because Argyle, I felt, had a lot of potential, especially from who was directing and writing it, and it just missed the ball left and right. And I am
It
not.
really did. Did you see
And
it, Nadia?
No, I watched
Okay.
some reviews on it because everybody was telling me it was really bad, and I'm like, I'm just not gonna waste my time. I will
Yep.
go. I probably will stream it because I'm a Cavill simp, so I probably will stream it at least. But I am told multiple
luck.
times that Cavill was not used properly and that he should fire his agent
he's
because of
always
this.
not used properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the new Guy Ritchie film looks great.
Oh,
I'm
it
excited
sure
for that.
Oh, that's exciting.
That one
But
looks really good. I want to see that one for sure.
to bring it back to Angel Studios, I'm very happy to see this company succeed. The Chosen's really good from if you want a really cool biblical series, it's actually pretty good. My sister recommended it to me, and I would recommend, just from a storytelling base, maybe even if you're not a Christian or a Catholic, you probably would enjoy it because it's very well written, very well directed. And
Is that in
acted.
Spanish?
No, I don't think so. Maybe, but I watch it in English.
There's another biblical
Hey,
show that's all in Spanish, and everybody is kind of like raving about it at the moment. I don't know.
I hope you're not confusing with Zorro, because I know Zorro's all in.
No, I would have known.
Which
It's nice to see studios like this because Sound of Freedom really it was like a shot of that heard around the world of being able to, it came out around the time of Barbenheimer, by the way, and it was able to garner so many earnings at release and during its run
But
that it
also
really
sorry, Max, go ahead.
it's it's okay. Just a quick point. It really surprised a lot of people, but it's also a really good movie. And of course, it was formerly Fox, in which Disney scrapped it. But of course, Angel Studios picked it up, and Angel Studios could be a really good distribution contender. And if they create their own storytelling, they may be something that it's kind of like one of those things where you want to keep an eye on studios. That's probably going to be one that you want to keep an eye on. So,
like what New Line Cinema was in the 90s.
Exactly. That's a good comparison. Go ahead, Nadia. Sorry.
I think Sound of Freedom also opens a lot of people who would be maybe considered normies in not knowing what was going on in the industry's eyes open, because I feel a lot of people woke up to the fact of, why is everybody against a movie about bringing the light on child sex trafficking? This is something we should all be behind. We should all be in the theaters watching this and supporting this. But yet we've got, again, keyboard warriors, mainstream media calling it some QAnon conspiracy theory kind of movie. And I think this actually helped a little bit in the culture war swing the pendulum towards us, because it opens people who normally don't, not like us, who research, read articles, talk to people and stuff, eyes of like, what is going on? This seems fishy.
Yeah, no, because it's one of those things like, okay, well, maybe it doesn't go to that extent. What if it does? What's wrong with bringing up that conversation? You know what I mean? It was like, are you opposed to being against child trafficking? Because that's why are you so adamant that, oh, this is a bad flick or this is probably what if it is? I'm very pro being anti-child trafficking. I promise I wouldn't get political tonight, but
I'm with you. Line them up at the
hard not to.
I think there should be a certain line in the sand, and I think that's a good line in the sand. I mean,
I take a hard stance on child trafficking.
I am always of the opinion of, if you're an adult, you do adult things, you're not harming anyone, that's fine. The moment it crosses over to in any form of harming children, that's it. You're first in line to the wood chipper. I'm done.
Agreed.
Like, we should be protecting innocence. We should be allowing children to be children instead of trying to make them seem like grown-ups and pushing these things on them.
And what other thing to rally behind than like protecting kids?
This should have been a
no-brainer.
That's not an argument. There's no argument there. Like, I don't know.
And the people that want to make it an argument, you got to pay attention to those people, because they're the ones that are hiding skeletons in their closet.
This should have been a non-political issue. This should have been an issue that everybody, doesn't matter what your political background, your religious background, doesn't matter, should be 100% behind.
No one had a problem with Taken and all those. No one had any problem with Liam Neeson coming to the rescue. There was like, who was the main guy in Sound of Freedom?
Tim.
I can see his face.
Oh, you mean Jesus? You mean the guy who played Jesus?
Oh,
Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel. Yes, thank you.
But it was like all of a sudden.
I love him so.
I don't think he gets enough play. He was awesome, and he was in Troy as well.
Because he's based. Nobody wants to work with anybody that's based.
I mean, but that was even before base. Everyone worked with Mel Gibson's crazy ass for the longest time. And it was
that's true.
And that's like base to the point of like jumping off the deep end. Like that's
And somebody brought up a good point, because I think everybody saw the article of what's the guy from Internals saying that he had to have therapy because of all the feedback from Internals.
I'm gonna butcher his name.
But Jim had like physically harmed himself to play the role of Jesus.
He got struck by lightning.
And you don't hear him at all complaining about anything that he went through. Yet, because of bad feedback, because of your shitty movie, you have to go have therapy.
And by the way, Passion of the Christ was way more diversive than the Eternals was. For the Eternals, everyone kind of was like, oh, this is a very violent film depicting the death of Jesus Christ. Everyone kind of looked at the Eternals was like, does this suck? It kind of sucks.
Well,
Like
the Passion
We
of
didn't
Christ-
want to say it sucks.
The Passion of Christ is very violent.
It is.
That it was a very violent situation, but also even during I think the scene where it's the scourging of the pillar. Even though they're
Oh my
supposed to
God, it's
have
so
the
brutal.
the prosthetic in the back for him to get he ended up getting lashed for
Yeah.
real.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like, and there's no complaints. I mean, back in the day, even women like Maureen O'Hara on set of The Quiet Man received bruises, and she never complained about that.
Well,
So
because John Wayne would have.
no, it's because people back then were far more tough, and they realized the passion of their roles, and they took their roles seriously. And some people are just kind of
It was
wimpy about
the
it.
craft. How many times
Yeah.
if Mo kept slapping Curly in the head and he kept going, "Ow, that hurts," the Three Stooges wouldn't be a thing that like stood the test of time. Yes,
Well,
at the end of the day, you're playing make believe, like in front of a camera. Sometimes you should suffer for your art a little bit. Like we're paying you a lot of money to like
Do
play
your job.
dress up. Yeah, shut up
Yeah.
and do. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have the hardest time with that. It's the same thing with pro athletes. It was like, oh, it's snowing this game. It was like, you make millions of dollars. Shut up and dance. Like I don't care.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, I'm not somebody to tell somebody how their mental health should be. Not at all. If he was really that depressed and taken back by the comments of his movie and he sought help, that's great. But I just look at where we were when The Passion of the Christ came out and not hearing a peep about Jim's issues or anything. Not till later, right? Not till years later that we heard
Yes.
what had happened. To using almost the excuse of seeking mental treatment as a way to get sympathy for how bad your movie is. Like, just own up to it, man. Like back in the day, people are like, "Hey, I made a shitty movie. Okay, move on. We do another movie. We, choose your projects, fire your agent, get a better agent."
Well, another thing too that I and like I said, I'm not going to attempt to say his name because I always butcher it. He got his start out in stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
you should have a thicker skin than that.
He has a great rom-com movie that he wrote with his wife a while back. I can't think of it. So like he's been successful. I just
or on the other hand, were the reviews for Eternals just that bad? I was like, because still there's been like 5 movies, no one's addressed the giant like robot thing that's coming out of like the polar ice caps. No one wants to talk about what are those celestial that stopped. It was like it was so bad they didn't address that in like 5 movies. Like they can't go a movie without addressing some show's continuity or anything. It was like they have never touched anything about the Eternals. It really
But there's a sequel. There's a sequel coming.
Is there really?
The last I heard of it, that there was last year there was an article or something that confirming a sequel for it. I'm not 100% sure because I didn't hear anything on the call either. I haven't really seen them announce much for Marvel coming out, except for everybody just waiting.
It's a good play
for Fantastic Four casting.
Confirmed. Oh yeah, Senor Puffy Face gonna play Reed Richards.
Lily, you gonna let him talk about your man like that?
Oh my god!
Hey, I love Pedro Pascal. He's not
when
right.
I hear all this,
he's not right for the role. I'm sorry. Okay, I would have liked to see Scott Eastwood as Reed Richards. That would have been. I feel like he's got the look.
You know what? I agree. I didn't want him. I mean, I guess they sort of accidentally confirmed it that he is going to be playing.
IMDb confirmed it for sure.
I really didn't want that. I didn't want him to play. Basically, I wish
he'd
that
be a better Ben Grimm.
I wish that all of my favorites would stay out of the MCU.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Because there were rumors that Ryan Gosling was also supposed to like be up for actually playing Dr. Doom in that movie too. And I was like, no. And then Austin Butler was supposed to be Johnny Storm. I'm like, no, not all of my favorites in one movie. Like,
I am
everything-
down with Daniel Radcliffe playing Wolverine.
I'm telling you, Disney should be like, hey, we're not doing any Marvel content for a year. We're gonna shut down. We're gonna regroup. We're gonna come back with the strongest Fantastic Four movie, and then we're gonna slide right into the X-Men, and we're gonna continue the Marvel legacy.
Oh,
we're gonna retire
they're gonna
everybody
phone
to
it
that.
in. They're gonna phone it in on the X-Men for sure.
But
What they're doing with Deadpool 3, they're just gonna cherry pick the people that they like most from the Fox universe and then bring those in. And I'm sure Taylor Swift is gonna play what is it? Dazzler.
Dazzler. Yeah.
You know, but I'm saying stuff like that. But also what you said earlier, I've now changed my opinion. I think Bob Iger is allergic to money. Now that I know that you're making an Eternals too, Bob.
But the thing is, this whole representation that they have been pushing, they easily can do it with the X-Men and nobody would bat an eye because there's tons of different X-Men that people you can have all different types of backgrounds, sexualities.
It's the
genders,
point of the
etc.
X-Men.
Yeah, you can have all of that without having to ruin legacy characters. So I'm like, if you want that, then work towards getting to that point.
Yeah, what happened to building? It was like, remember when you spent 5 movies in a phase building towards one thing? Why couldn't you do that? And another thing too, if they do X-Men, get them out of New York as soon as possible. Like, start them in Manchester, have it out there, get them to Kenosha as quick as possible, because the power flux of when you put the mutants into the Marvel Cinematic Universe is ridiculous. Like, people like Iceman and Magneto, I was like, you need to get them separated from the regular equation, because like if like some of these like alpha and omega level mutants start like getting involved in like regular entanglements, like there's not really going to be much of a fight. That's a reason that Marvel Comics, when actual like Civil War was going on, like the X-Men were not involved. It was like, so like you're really kind of playing with fire, bringing in these really, really powerful people when you haven't really done a good job of showing where your power scale is in your set universe, and you've been bouncing around. They did the same thing with Star Wars, where they were like, well, in this phase, well, we're going to take it director by director. And it was like, no. You need to sit down and map this stuff out, because now you're getting in, you have these really important characters back. People are going to be really, really mad if you screw it up. It's not going to be like, oh my God, well, Miss Marvel didn't stand up. Kamala Khan, great character. I love the actress who plays her. She doesn't have the following that Cyclops does. She doesn't have the following that Wolverine does.
And not only that, but the X-Men, not the X-Men, but like, you talk about the X-Men, you talk about the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four is literally the family of Marvel.
The royal family.
The royal family of Marvel.
If
you screw that up with people that do not fit in those types of roles, well, especially by people who are, for people who do follow the source material and all this other stuff, we can't be for the source material and not be for the source material.
They just did it with Fan 4 Stick. Okay, like 7 years ago.
Yes, and it's kind of, and they've really screwed the pooch with a lot of Fantastic Four stuff. So it's just a lot of people are very tired of it.
I'm okay with Pedro playing Reed Richards as long as it's a good script, because I don't want him. Obviously, he's an agent. As an agent, he can decide on what he wants to do, right? So I'm hoping this, and he's been around the industry for a long time. I mean, hell, he's been on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
I hope that going in, he has negotiated that he gets to have changes, or at least look at the script and stuff, because I don't want them just to cast him just because either he's a Latino lead or because he's popular nowadays. I
Right.
want them to cast him because they truly believe like he has the acting skills to bring this character to the screen and thus bring everybody back into the Marvel universe.
Well,
I
always
don't-
thought he was too
I
old.
mean, if I may,
no,
make a point-
he's not. Sorry, Lee, 1 second. He's not too old to play Reed Richards. He's not at all. It depends on where in the Fantastic Four timeline that they are going to start this story off in. Reed's always been a little bit older than the rest.
I've
of them.
heard a rumor, Lily. I don't want to interrupt, but I can't confirm it yet, but I think I know how they're gonna do it, and if they do it, I won't mind Pedro Pascal playing the part, but I don't want to.
Yeah,
You don't know the remover.
I
if it's
want to give
confirmed or not.
Lily. I want to bring it back to Lily.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a point about that because everybody's bringing up the ethnicity thing.
Yes.
If they really wanted to make this like super, like, oh my gosh, look at us, we're gonna be like, race swapping this character, whatever. Guys, you have to keep in mind that Pedro and, for example, me, we're not considered actual Latinos that are going to give you any inclusivity because we're not dark enough. I'm sorry, that's just
Same
how
here.
it is.
I'm
They're
Middle
not bringing Pedro in to be their check mark for that. If they wanted to, they would have cast a Black Latino. That's just how it is. They don't consider people like our skin color to actually bring the inclusivity. We're too what do they call it? We're too I can't remember the word right now, but yeah, we're it's basically that little meme with Peter that's holding up the shades.
Oh yeah,
We're not there, so they're not bringing him in just necessarily to be the inclusivity. I think
exactly.
And I mean, yes, I am a fan of his. I'm not a fan of his, a lot of his views, but I am a fan of his work. He's a very good actor. I really enjoy his work. He's a great actor. So if they're actually bringing him in because they want to do a good script and they have something in mind, I can fully be behind it, but I really don't want them to screw this up because he is a good actor. I'm sorry, a lot of people hate him. I know you guys hate him for his political views.
I don't hate him, and I didn't imply
but he's a great actor. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
No, they want to time displace the Fantastic Four is what they want to do. So the Fantastic Four, from what I read, is going to be the heroes that we all know from the 60s. And they got lost in the multiverse traveling, and they're supposed to just land into the
This script could change a million times.
Yeah, but I'm saying if they're gonna do that, Pedro Pascal will be fine. You know what I mean? But if they're gonna do another origin story, then no, he's far too old for the role.
I agree with that because we're getting sick and tired of origin stories at this point. They need to be able to start doing standalone movies where these characters can germinate, for the lack of a better phrase, germinate and be able to cultivate who they are and get themselves established into this, like especially with some of these actors into these roles, because again, the Fantastic Four is the first family of Marvel, so they need to really start this off with a bang, and they have to, and if people are going to be about the lore, then they need to be consistent with actually fighting for the lore. So it's kind of like, get your script right, get your story right, get your people right as far as the characters are concerned, and regardless of who or what you are, at least try to make it so that it fits the storyline, if that makes sense. So
as long as they get Doctor Doom, I'm fine.
It's not even, to be honest, it's not even Doctor Doom. It's just, this is their opening. This is their way back to bring people back to the end.
Absolutely.
The classic
Great
MCU.
point.
Classic
Yeah.
MCU.
This is it. And rumors is this is the cast, so-called rumors, right? We've got Pedro kind of confirmed on it. But if this is truly the cast that they are going to go with, then I'm 100% on board, as long as the script is there. As long as you give me my Fantastic Four family that I grew up with. We have a traditional Fantastic Four, the old school first edition, big poster of them framed that's hung up. Like, this is the royal family of Marvel, and it's already been fucked up so many times. Now, granted, I kind of like the early 2000 movies. They're campy, they're fun.
Yeah.
You know, the latest one is but I am totally cool with this, especially what's his place to play Johnny Storm. I absolutely love this.
From Stranger
casting.
Things?
Yes, I think this is
Yes.
great. This is great. But again, I don't think I'm with you, Lily. I don't think it's so much. A lot of people are playing. I think people are so tired of them checking boxes, so that's why they are so focused on Pedro's ethnicity first, rather than saying, "Well, wait a minute. He's popular in The Last of Us. He's popular in all these other movies and shows. This is kind of his time to shine." Obviously, why wouldn't he be a first pick for Reed Richards, right? Out of all male actors out of there? But I think because people have been so, I guess, jaded, maybe in a sense, that people have been checked off boxes by past Marvel characters, that it's the first thing they go for instead of seeing the sunshine through the clouds, I guess.
Well, and look at it this way. A lot of what we've all seen, and it's because a precedent has already been set by Disney, by Marvel, or whatever. They always say the first such and such, the first such and such, and it's kind of like, it's sad because they don't talk about the merits of the person. They care more about the surface, and it's kind of like they go about it in such a way where they offer these people up as sacrifice or something like that, as a martyrdom or some sort of like shield to their agenda. Like, here, we're going to put you out here. And it's kind of like, what? I mean, and then they attack the fans. They outright attack the fans that go, this is probably not a good movie. It's not quality script, whatever. And then they say, oh, it's because of race. It's because of this. It's like, we're kind of all been all of us. We've been
gaslighted.
Whether it's been, normal people on both right and left, and I say normal people on both and right. I think people have been so gaslit and so burned, like we've touched the stove or whatever too many times. It's almost like we don't even know what is going on here. It's like, what's going on? I don't know. I don't know how to react to this. For me, I want a good script. I think a lot of us, bottom line, is that we want a good script, we want a good quality movie, and we also don't want it to be based on political agenda either.
You could do an all-black cast. I don't care. Have it be well written. And I'm so sick of seeing some of these writers fail upwards, where it was like, oh, they wrote this movie, it bombed, but now he's got an even bigger franchise. I like I said, race and all that stuff. I never cared about any of that stuff. As long as it's well executed,
I agree.
It should make a difference.
And like Rachel said in the live chat, it all depends on how it's advertised. And Disney has not advertised it. Marvel and Lucasfilm have not advertised any of their shows well, because the first thing they cared about more is about the race, not about the show.
I want to know where my Middle Eastern superhero is. Where's mine? Where's my representation in the MCU? What, I have Moon Knight?
We'll see how this one.
Yeah, you had Moon Knight, and then the girl that was in Moon Knight.
That's Egyptian.
Kamala, yeah, Miss Marvel, yeah.
No. I want Jordanian. Where's my Jordan superhero? Like,
wasn't Miss Marvel Indian?
I think Pakistani.
That's right.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, there.
Not a good look for me.
I feel like we could go in circles about the whole idea of, because I agree with you, Mags. We've been gaslighted in the fact that it's the first thing that comes out of Disney's mouth of like, this is the first this. We're casting because of this. We want diversity for this. Instead of like, we've got a bunch of a really great script, a bunch of cool writers writing this. This is going to be awesome. We're really going to, listen to the fans on what they want. We're hoping this brings people together in the theater, people talking about it. Think of the first 10 years of Marvel.
Look at Echo. I mean, that's all they talked about was identity. And for me, I'm just like, all right, to be quite honest, I don't give a shit anymore. What is a character? What are you doing with the script? What is the story about? Like, where's the direction of this? How does this all fit into the MCU? I don't care. Like,
and they missed the mark with Echo because having a character who's disabled and having that representation on the screen. I know for some friends that are disabled, who are missing limbs and stuff, that's a pretty big deal for them, because you don't see that, right? You normally see like your Captain Americas, your Supermans, your Wonder Womans. You don't see a character that has an actual disability, and they miss the mark on that. Instead of focusing on like, look at her being able to do this stuff, look at how strong she is. They straight went into identity politics instead of giving that little girl that might be, had to having a leg amputated somebody to look up to. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and wouldn't you think you would put your best foot forward on that? Where instead of sorry,
It's okay.
no, but I'm saying it was like this is the first character who's, you know, handicapped, and they're doing that. It was like, wouldn't you want to get the best writers you could so you're getting the best possible project? It was like, or are you just checking a box? And it was like, oh, we have this, and all you're going to talk about is it's the first character to represent this, but you got the same boneheads who failed the last time writing the same generic story we've seen 100 times. I think it's borderline insulting to some of these people where, you know, you get representation and then you finally see someone that you can relate to on the screen and they phoned it in.
They didn't
What
get.
does
They
that
didn't.
say about you? What does that
It-
say to how they feel about you?
They don't even ask the people that actually are dealing with it in real life.
Oh
No.
no, they would have
never
brought
get
in.
their- They never
would've
get their
fired 'em.
perspective. Yeah, they never get their perspective. They don't even talk to, like a really good really good people they could have had on the set of Echo would be experts of veterans who've lost
Yes.
their limbs in war, who are
Yep.
still active in their own life.
Already more
and who-
intriguing than Echo.
And exactly, and they could put in their own input of how, like, they're pretty muscly looking amputees out there. So I mean, they could have brought in some people who knew what they were doing, who knew how to, you know, give expert opinion on such things. And, you know, given it's Echo, she's a woman, she's not going to be as strong, she's already has a handicap, so to speak. What about using her cleverness, her intelligence, and her ability to get out of things quickly? You know,
Oh my god!
you
that's
got
another
to
thing,
think. You
too.
got
Let
to
a
think.
woman be a woman.
Well, not only that, but you got to be thinking creatively right now in terms of, you already have something that's going to hold you back. What are you going to do in that situation? How are you going to win? How are you going to fight back? So I mean, there's a lot of other things that you can do, and I think script writers and writers and movies in general just don't even look at that possibility of challenging themselves to challenge their imagination to be able to do something that's creative and that's worthwhile, and they can't. They don't even know how to write human, to be quite
Oh,
honest.
you know,
Well, the
being
Echo-
a lesbian's not a superpower.
The
Nah.
the Echo show's not even remotely close to the actual character in comics too.
No,
I had to be
No.
reminded by that because I'm married to the Marvel Encyclopedia multiple times. When
No,
I
they
Echo,
took
because
talk
great
about
liberties.
you talk about the lore, right?
yeah, because he's one of the few people who've actually read actual Echo, like first appearance of Echo, and it's
Props
in
for that.
And then the show is, and the comics are great, but the show is nowhere near it, which is fine. I get it, adaptation, but representation and all this stuff. Just honestly, if your story's good, your characters are well built, there's some depth to them, everybody's going to find some form of representation in these characters.
Yeah,
growing
they
up,
took liberties with it, and it's still
Well,
mediocre.
I mean, look at Lord of the Rings growing up. There was no Arab fucking hobbit walking around, but I still saw like characters that I love about myself in these characters and was able to enjoy it, right? I don't need a representation of, you know, somebody smoking the hookah in a hobbit hole.
I love Luke
but-
Skywalker. I'm a girl. He's
Yeah.
a
There you
guy.
go. But I think, shall we wrap it up, ladies, gentlemen?
I think so.
I think so. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Give me
I
a
think
second.
we got it, and we've covered none of the stuff that we wanted to get.
It's okay. This is how it normally
This
goes.
is how it happens. Yeah.
Well,
I do want to say real quick, happy birthday to John Williams.
Ah,
Oh
yes.
yes, that's a good one. Happy
93.
birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. Oh, and rest in peace, Carl Weathers.
Yes.
Didn't get to that.
Yeah.
Who-
Most famous bicep.
That's a huge loss. Oh my gosh. I
Everybody
couldn't
knows-
believe it. When Max told us, I thought she was joking.
I just got done. I saw him
I
in
would
that
never
commercial with
joke
Gronk
about
going.
that,
I
"This
know,
is
Lily.
I know. That's why I was like, oh my god, this has to be like somebody that like tricked Mags or something, because I didn't believe it.
All I thought of was his appearance on Arrested Development. That was my first go-to.
Oh, mine was
Really?
Chubbs,
yeah.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
See, I
sure.
grew up on the Rocky movies. and
Yeah.
so that's-
So did
I
I.
just, I mean,
Apollo Creed.
I think I've seen them. I think so. At least the first one I have.
I've heard
All
of
right,
him.
I'm going to blow everybody up and let everybody kind of tell them where
No.
they're going to be next. I'm pre-warning you, so Sammy, you first. Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitch. You can find me on X. You can find me on YouTube. There's not much yet, but I'm gonna be adding to it sometime soon. And then other than that, just working on a couple of music projects. I just got back together with a couple of musicians I haven't worked with in like 10 years. I'm hoping to get some of that back on iTunes. And other than that, I had a blast, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome anytime. It was great to have you on.
Thank you.
Dr. Bob, hold on one second.
Dr. Bob.
Dr. Bob, I know you. I'm so sorry, Dr. Bob. I wish I could have thrown a little bit more to you, but Dr. Bob, I know you just went through MegaCon. Where can people find you next? What's the next project? You're muted.
You muted, Bob.
Oh no, you missed it. No, I'm just kidding. Bob. Bob doesn't even know how to use a microphone. But yep, just got back from MegaCon. Lots of ideas about art stuff to do. Got a couple projects in mind, so check me out on my YouTube channel, Outerline Crafting. Otherwise, you can just find me floating around on YouTube, on Instagram, definitely on Twitter. I refuse to call it anything else. Saran_cosplay. So look for me a bit everywhere.
All right, Lily, you ready? Okay,
No.
Lily, where can people find you next?
Lily, you just have like a Sith grin and laughter going on. I love it.
Yeah.
So you can find me on Twix at 300 Mirrors. So usually I'll post everything that I'm doing over there, but you can find me doing shorts for Midnight's Edge Espanol. I have some new ones that I'm going to be putting up. So I did cover Gina and a couple other things that came out as well. You can also find me kind of taking over Polly's channel on Latino Slant sometimes too, so look out for that. And then on Legion Talk, Mondays and Fridays we're doing Game of Thrones, and then just a wrap up of pop culture that's been going on throughout the week. So so just follow me on Twitter and you'll see everything there.
Mando says your shorts have been fire. Congratulations, Lily. I'm so proud to see how much you've grown in the last couple of months.
I know. Thank you.
Mags, where can people find you next?
Of course, you can find me everywhere with the at Magitech Mags tag name on Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, all of those spaces. Yes, I am working in the background of getting myself back into streaming again, so keep an eye on that one. But you can find me, of course, here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can also, I think Toxic Femininity is going to be coming back on Monday, so make sure you check out that on Midnight's Edge with some of us ladies there. I pop in everywhere I can to be able to support. You might be able to see me mod in a lot of spaces, but definitely check out everybody here. Check out everybody who's in the chat. And I'm so proud of Nomi and Lily for really coming into their own with the Midnight's Edge Espanol and coming into the Midnight's Edge family. Hey, we need more women there. And of course, helping Polly out. He's a good guy. So yay! I'm so glad to see everybody succeeding. I just love it. It's so good. I saw some people getting into the Rumble Creator Program the last 24 hours, and I'm just like, I love seeing people succeed. I just love it. It just makes me feel good. It's my extroversion. I don't know what it is. It's just like, it makes me feel good. I'm like ray of sunshine right now, so it's good.
You are a ray of sunshine, Mag. For sure. I'm Nadia, player one of the Inside All Day podcast. You can find me this Saturday on Nerdy Neo's channel talking about video games, and then also on the Inside All Day gaming channel this Saturday for our session 2 for our D&D stream. Next week, I actually will be off all streams, and Dames and Dorks will be solely hosted over on Nomi's channel on Wednesday instead of Thursday. We'll actually have Beardo on for a Valentine's Day special. I won't be on, but please go over to Nomi's channel on Wednesday night. There will be some announcement on Twitter, and follow along, and please, give the girls some support while I am gone next week. On that note, you can follow me on Twitter as Nerd Dollface. I apologize. I'm super tired right now. On that note, I hope everybody in the chat, thank you so much for coming by, stopping by, saying hello. Thank you for everything. And thank you to my panel and our guests. This was a heated topic, but it was fun. And until next time, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.